Hello everyone. I'm in Onomichi right now, a little city that's popular for a few different reasons. My favorite reason is because it has a little bit of a movie history. They've shot a few different movies here, and if I remember correctly, a horror movie that's kind of infamous. It has a cult following. A friend of mine named Matt, he introduced me to this film. He said, "Oh, have you seen this movie called House?" And I said, "No, I haven't seen that movie." He said, "Oh, you got to see it." So he made me watch it, which was fine. It was very strange, but definitely one of those films where you have to watch it if you want to catch just a little taste of the strange, weird horror / Japanese movie genre. There you go. Go watch House, or House. I believe that they shot a lot of it, or maybe just a portion of it here in Onomichi. I believe so, and or it may be that director shot some films here, or a film or something. It's one of those things. I can't remember, but several films have been shot here, and they've shot some different scenes here, and they actually have a movie museum. Didn't plan to go there today because I only came to Onomichi to visit the Japanese language school, and now we're gonna drive through Onomichi and head back to my house. So you get to see the drive from here all the way to my house, if I let the camera roll that entire time. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Right now I'm in the parking lot of Cafe Gasto, and in English it's Gusto. And this cafe is popular because it's like a family restaurant. The prices are not expensive. They have a beverage bar. You pay one price and you can drink as many drinks as you want. They have water, tea, iced tea, and hot tea, coffee, iced coffee. Then they have sodas and other stuff. They have soup, salad, some Japanese style foods. Also like hamburger steak, chicken, karaage, fried chicken. Some spaghetti, pizza, just a variety of stuff. Typical family restaurant, just a variety of stuff. Western and Japanese foods. But this is a nice place where I can come and just sit down for a while when I need to rest and relax, or upload or edit, because I can just pay one small price and I can just keep drinking tea, water, and some coffee or whatever, and just relax. They got them all over Japan. I do want to tell you, the reason I came to Onomichi, there's a language school here. There are actually a few different schools around here, and I would have liked to visited more, but this is the only one that I really needed to come talk to, and I'm glad that I did. The language school that I came to see today, or I came to visit today, they actually gave me a really nice consultation.
Turn right.
I was trying to figure out what was the point of me coming all the way down here, to drive all the way down here just to meet them. I didn't quite understand why I couldn't get the information through email, but it was such a great, comprehensive interview.
We found a faster route that saves 6 minutes.
No thanks. I don't want to pay 500 yen just to save 6 minutes. No thank you. I wish Google would just be quiet. Once I select a route, just be quiet. Don't tell me unless there's an emergency or I can't go that way anymore. They weren't just asking me general basic questions. They were telling me all sorts of things. They wanted to understand completely my situation. And then from there, they can determine everything that I need to do in order to get my student visa and enter school. And what I don't need to do, because there are some things that I have to do, and all students have to do, or that are entering as students or whatever, but there are some things that I don't have to do that others would. So if somebody's coming from out of the country, or a younger student, or somebody who doesn't have a degree, etc., there are different restrictions or qualifications or requirements for different people depending on their situation. So if you're interested in coming to Japan to study Japanese, and you're curious about what is required, well, I can give you a little bit of what my experience is today after this consultation. because, man, I'll tell you this, they gave me an education. Not in Japanese, but in how to apply the process of applying to become a student and get my residency, my student residency or student visa in Japan to study Japanese. It was pretty interesting because today is April 10th, and oh, is there a stadium over there? Sports park. Oh, okay, that's cool. Anyway, the information that they gave me, I was kind of surprised because, like I just said, April 10th is the date today, and classes start in October. So you would think, oh, that's plenty of time to turn in my paperwork, get some fees paid, get my student visa, and get enrolled in school, right? So you've got May, June, July, August, September, October. It's exactly 6 months. 6 months from now until the time the school starts. So you think it's plenty of time. And by the way, when I say school, I'm not talking about a university necessarily. The school that I talked to today, it's a language program, a language institute. They are not a university. They're an independent language program, and they have the authority to issue or apply for visas for students. So they can do full-time students, either morning or evening, five days a week, full-time, and you can apply for a visa through that program. They will help you apply for the visa. So that's very, very helpful. This particular program, along with many other programs that do similar things, start twice a year, and they have typically 2 different programs. So they start in the spring and they start in the fall. Fall is in October, and the 2 different programs they offer, typically, like this school and the other schools that I've seen, commonly have a 2-year program and a 1.5-year program. So the prices are different depending on which one you choose. But the one thing that I have noticed is that pretty much every program has the same exact price for the first year, and then the second year the price varies depending on if you go a half a year or a whole year. Seems obvious, but you know, that's the way it works. Now, here's the thing. If you're interested in going to a university as a Japanese language student, studying there,
400 meters, turn right.
400 meters, turn right, got it. If you're going to go to a university, or if you're interested in studying at a university in Japan for Japanese, then that's slightly different. The processes are slightly different. I think it could even take a little longer and require more documents. It would definitely require more documents, I think, than the language program.
Turn right.
I will turn right when I get through the traffic, Google. Let me see if I can level this a little. It seems to be not level, so let me try to level that. Is that better? It seems better. And move it like that. How's that? Better? Maybe so. Maybe better. Maybe better. Okay. Good. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to speak to you about university stuff because I haven't done anything about applying for university other than sending a couple of emails and looking at some of their programs as far as enrolling and everything that's required and the amount of time that's required. I don't know. I do know some of the prices that the universities have, and typically they are very, very expensive. From what I can tell, it's a better deal financially to go to a language school versus a university Japanese language program. That's just the, I guess, general overall that I've seen. So, what did I learn today? That's the thing I wanted to share with you. What did I learn today that was so interesting that I wanted to make a video about it? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me get through this toll gate, and then we'll get really heavy on the subject of what I learned today at the meeting that I had. I will tell you this right quick. When I first arrived, there were a couple of staff members that gave me a lot of information. The young girl that spoke most of the English, she hasn't been there very long. She's only been working there for a couple of weeks, but she was quite helpful. However, they both told me that their sensei, I guess their leader or whatever, she wasn't there yet, but she would be there soon. And that when she arrived, she would be able to answer all my questions in detail. She was very knowledgeable. And they were right. She really knew her stuff. Give me just one moment. Eat my ticket. 220 yen. So just to get on and go one stop is 200, and that's exactly what I've got in my pocket. It's 220. Can you believe it? Get a receipt. Thank you. All right. So, okay, and away we go through the ETC again. I hope you're enjoying the view. It's very beautiful out here. There's definitely a lot to look at in this area. I'm going to put take it away there. So the sensei showed up, and not only did she give me a ton of great information, she was able to answer pretty much every question. There were only few things that she wasn't sure about, but she said that she was going to contact Hiroshima Immigration and ask them some questions just to be sure and get an answer. Because here's the first thing. The first thing is that she said we don't have a whole lot of time, actually, because even though there's 6 months between now and October, there's not a whole lot of time to get everything done, in truth. She said that preferably by next month, I should have some documents turned in to her so that they can begin the process of applying to immigration for my student residency visa. And then it could take the immigration office as much as 2 months to get all of that verified, because she said they go over all of the information to make sure everything is accurate, and once they're all satisfied, then they will approve it and or deny it or whatever they're going to do. But they'll go through the whole process. She said normally it takes about 2 months. So if I turn in all my information by May, which is what they prefer, 1 month from now, and no later than June, she said. But if I turn it in by June, and it takes them 2 months, it won't be until sometime in August that immigration finishes with my visa. And then from there, I have to go ahead and pay for the first half of my tuition, plus the entrance fee, the application fee, and all of that, the books and everything that are needed for my studies, and get all of that taken care of. And anyway, from what she showed me, just to be on the safe side, it's better to start the application process from May, just to make sure that everything is done in time. So that means it's a big rush, right, to get everything taken care of, because you have to provide several bits of information before you apply for your student visa. Now, most people, when they apply, they actually have to apply from outside the country, or if they're in Japan, then they'll have to exit and go back to their home country to finish the application process and get their student visa and then come back to Japan. But since I've been living and working here for the past few years, she said that will be unnecessary. Also, if you don't have a university degree and you want to study Japanese here, you're going to have to pass a certain level of Japanese exam, and that will be the N5. The N5 is the lowest level of Japanese proficiency, I guess you could say certification proficiency you can have in Japan. And the highest, of course, is N1. So you have N1, N5, N4, all the way to N1. N1 being the highest. And I've been told it's not really difficult to pass the N5, but most schools require you to pass this N5 in order to enroll. However, she said that's unnecessary for me. And the reason is because I have my 4-year university degree, and so I don't need to do that. So apparently, this is a qualification for people who are freshly out of high school and are wanting to attend university here, and they're enrolling in a Japanese program. Then they need to have some type of certification. So either a certificate that shows about 150 hours of Japanese study, or you have to show that you've passed at least the N5 level of Japanese language proficiency test. So there you go. 2 ways to do it. Have the 150 hours of Japanese study certification that you can show them, or pass the N5 level Japanese language proficiency test. But if you have a university degree, a 4-year university degree, then you don't have to do that. So she told me that was not an issue, which is good, because that's extra time and money I don't have to spend in order to apply for my student visa. Okay, so what else is required for the student residency? Okay, now you know that I live here and I have a house here and I've been working here for the past few years, but right now I'm on medical leave, of course, so I don't have a current working contract. However, you have to show them your bank account information. You have to show them what that you can support yourself while you're in school. And she actually gave me a recommendation of how much money you should show them in your bank account. Because that was my question. They want to see your bank account record, but they don't tell you exactly what they're looking for or how much they're looking for or whatever. And she told me that she recommends 1.5 million yen, or no less than 1 million yen just sitting in my account. And with these minimal amounts, it will show at least I have enough to live on, and I can take care of myself reasonably while I'm going to school in Japan and studying Japanese. So how much is that? Well, 1 million is roughly $8,000. So 1.5 million yen is going to be about $12,000. Okay, so absolute minimal that you'd want to have in your account to show them is going to be $8,000, but preferably, she said, $12,000. So there you go. If you're wondering about that, I got an answer. That's an answer that I wasn't actually able to find online, but she was able to tell me that. Like I said, she's very experienced. She's quite familiar with a lot of stuff, and that's the first thing I have to do. I have to show them that I have that much money sitting in my account, and I'm not like fresh off the boat, so I don't need to have a sponsor or somebody that guarantees to take care of me or support me while I'm studying. I'm not a young student. I've been working and living here, so she said I didn't have to worry about that. But if you're a younger person, or maybe just graduating high school or whatever, and you want to come to Japan and study, you're going to have to probably list your parents, and they're going to have to sign a piece of paper that says, yes, I will agree to be financially responsible for taking care of this person while they're studying in Japan, in case they're unable to, so that they're able to live and pay their expenses, or just in case there's an emergency and they need extra financial support, I'll take care of it. It's like a guarantor, essentially. So I don't have to have that, but I do need to show them the aforementioned money in my account. So there we go. Let's now go back and look at it from another angle. This place is about 1 hour from me, so if I want to go there, I'll have to drive from my home to there 5 days a week, and they have two different types of classes. They have the morning classes from about 9 or 9:30 until 12:30, or they have the classes starting from after lunch, maybe 1:30 to about 5:30. And if you take the morning classes, then you don't take the evening classes. You just take either morning or evening. But you can't take both or one or the other. You have to choose. And if I drive from my house, like I said, it's 1 hour one way. So I'd be driving 2 hours a day if I choose to do that 5 days a week. However, Onomichi is not a big town. If for some reason I wanted to, or I could afford to, I could actually get a small rental place and stay there a few nights a week, just during the weekdays, and then go back to my town, or my house in my town. So they were kind of concerned about that. They were like, really, can you drive that far if it's an hour from your house? And I said, well, a lot of people commute longer than that to go to work. If I go back to the school and work, I'll have to drive no less than 35 minutes, but possibly even as much as 40 minutes or 45 minutes, depending on where I'd be put. And driving that every day to go to school and work for 9 hours and then go home, that's an 11-hour day, basically. That's not nearly as difficult as going to school for a few hours and then still being able to get home at a decent time. Because if I go in the morning and I finish at 12:30, I can get home before 2 o'clock. And I think that's much, much better than getting home at almost 6 o'clock. And that's working locally. If I have to drive to a school to work, then I might not be getting home until 6:30 or close to 7 o'clock. And that's no good, right?
In 3 kilometers, take the exit on the left.
In 3 kilometers, take the exit on the left. I will do it. So, anyway, that's kind of the situation for me. And I think that I covered all the main stuff. So if you're interested in studying in Japan and you're looking to get some information about how to go to a language school, then maybe this can help you a little bit, give you an idea of some of the things that you need to consider. Because if you only have like $1,000 in your account and you don't have anybody to agree to support you, then it's going to be difficult for you to get the student residency or visa. So I can tell you right now that it's going to be a challenge for me. It's going to be a real challenge for me to meet these requirements, which leads me to the next thing. Because she said, right now, if you want to go in the fall, we've got to get a lot of stuff together really quickly, and it's kind of a rush. What if we could go in the spring, in April of next year? And I said, well,
in 600 meters, take the exit on the left.
Okay. I said, well, if that were possible, that'd be fine, because it'd give me some time to kind of recover from my health situation and save up some more money, and it would just be better. It'd be less
Take the exit
stress.
on the left.
And she said, yeah. So my question to her was, my residency is only good to October. So would immigration give me an extension for that? And she said, maybe. And so I said, okay, well, how do we find out? And she said, well, let's, 1 second here. Yeah. Google didn't tell me to go right, but it shows on the map go right, so I had to take a look right quick at that. My apologies. Anyway, she told me that she would contact immigration and ask them about this. She tried to call while I was there, but they were on lunch break.
Turn left.
Okay. Yeah, it figures they'd be on lunch break, right? So she wasn't able to get an answer right then. But she said after she called them again today and got an answer, she would email me and let me know what was going on. So she's got a couple of questions. She's going to ask them and then give me the information. I expect that by the time I get home, I'll have an email from her. And I stopped at this red light, and the van behind me just drove right through it. He went around me and drove and turned right through it. So, see, that's the interesting thing. If immigration tells her, well, yes, if he's preparing to get into your school and you guys need extra time so that he can apply for enrollment in April, then we can extend it. If they can do that, that would be awesome, because I would really like to go to school in the fall. I would much prefer that. However, because the financial situation, my gosh, I have to show that I have no less than $8,000 in my primary Japanese account, plus what she said is it's better to have 12,000 at least just sitting there in the one account, not using it, just kind of as savings, just sitting there. I just can't do that right now. If I had to prove that, show that by next month or by June, honestly, that's what I've been doing, is racking my brain today thinking about how can I do that? How can I move that much money into my main account so that I can show that by May or June? How can I do that? When I first came to Japan a few years ago, I had saved up about $20,000 just from teaching in China for a few years, and I was doing really well. Just to give you an idea, in Beijing I was making almost $5,000 a month for tutoring a Chinese celebrity, a boy band member. Actually, he was like the lead singer of a boy band. So I had a really good job, and now it didn't just fall into my lap. I knew people who were aware of my teaching ability and my movie making experience, and they wanted me to go apply for this job. And I didn't want to at first because I wasn't interested in moving to Beijing and all of this, but in the end I was kind of like, well, the chance to go work with a celebrity and, maybe meet some movie people, it's kind of something you don't see very often, especially in another country, so I was like, why not? So I decided to go interview, and they immediately hired me. They flew me to Beijing, they interviewed me. The producer, who was like the sister of a very famous actress, she actually talked to me, and they liked me. They hired me immediately, and then I moved to Beijing, and I started making really good money for work that was really actually too easy. But it was a cushy job, but I wasn't happy because it wasn't what I wanted to do, and I didn't really like Beijing. Beijing's a nice place to visit, but it's not really a great place to live. Plus, I started feeling my gut that it was time to leave China, and I started preparing to move to Japan. But by the time I actually got to Japan, I'd saved up about $20,000. Of course, I had to spend a little bit of that on moving, flying over, moving my stuff, etc., etc. And so I guess you could say I had about, by the time I got settled and I got a place to stay in Tokyo and all that, at the beginning of, what was it, 2020? Is that right? 20? I get my years mixed up. 2019? It was right before the pandemic, okay? Because I remember when I arrived in Tokyo, I got a message from a friend of mine in China, and he said, "Hey, bro, did you hear about this virus from Wuhan?" So literally the day I arrived in Tokyo, that was the first day that I heard about the virus. Shortly after, it started to get out of control, and it started causing problems everywhere. The companies that I was going to be working for and instructing, they completely shut down. My job disappeared, and my savings became my income for the rest of the year and for the beginning of the next year. And I was also sending money to my daughter regularly. So by the time I moved from Tokyo to Hiroshima to get a teaching job, finally, I looked everywhere. I finally got a pretty lousy, low-paying teaching job in Hiroshima. But by that time, I had spent pretty much all of my savings. So everything that I'd saved and prepared, all of that money just disappeared. It was ridiculous. So sad to think about, because if I could go back, I would have done some things differently. I would have just gone ahead and looked for a place to buy. I would have bought a cheap place and then used the rest of my money to enroll in a language program and become a student immediately. That would have really been the best thing to do. But of course, hindsight, right? You don't know sometimes. I mean, I couldn't have predicted the stupid pandemic and everything shutting down and me having to lose my money that way. Now, since then, it's been a little difficult to recover, because even though I did get a job that was a little better than the one I had before, I only made about $150, maybe $200 more per month with the next job. However, at the beginning of last year, I started having some more difficulty. At the time, I thought I was just really out of shape because I was struggling walking uphill and walking long distances and going upstairs and stuff like that. But also my kidney, like on my side was hurting, but I didn't really know it was my kidney. I didn't think about it being my kidney. And then one day I noticed some blood when I went to the toilet, and I was like, well, that's not good. So finally I went to see the doctor. They referred me from the clinic to the main hospital. They found the huge tumor, and well, the rest we can say is history. From there, it became pretty difficult for me for a while. It was difficult just to get by, okay? It was difficult just to do basic things. Just walk a half a block was difficult for me. Going to work was really difficult because I had to go uphill, and then walking upstairs to the classes, and my legs were swelling up. It was just a bunch of nonsense. And I did some fasting, changed my diet. That helped a lot. And I've still had, it's been like a roller coaster kind of since then. I haven't gotten worse, I guess you could say, but I haven't really gotten better either. It's just been kind of petering along with the same issues popping up here and there, and then going away and coming back, and going away, coming back. And it's just been that way since about May of last year. I said all that because you can kind of see why it's been difficult for me to recover my money, recover my life, recover my situation and my savings. Working as a teacher here, unless you marry somebody and you have a really cheap rent and your spouse is making decent money, you really can't save much especially if you want to travel and go somewhere. If you just want to travel and see some places in Japan, you got to pay for transportation and your hotels and stuff like that. So I've only been back to Tokyo once in the past 3 years since I've been away. I've only been back once to see some friends, and that was just a few days, very short time. I haven't been back to the U.S. since my daughter graduated high school. Now she's about to graduate university, so it's been 4 years almost since I've been back there to see her. And there's just no good possible way you can recover your savings in any kind of efficient manner teaching English in Japan. Not as an ALT in a school system, or as a English instructor in a training school. It's just not possible. The pay is too low. So, do you think that I have $8,000 to $12,000 just sitting in my Japanese bank account? No, absolutely not. So, I'm really hoping the immigration's like, well, hey, listen, yeah, it is a little short notice to be getting things together for school and attending school, so we're willing to extend his residency until the spring, until April or whatever, so that he can apply and get everything together he needs. I really hope they say that, because even though I want to go to school in the fall, having that extra time would mean that I have a lot more time to make money and save money, and maybe they'll also recover, because that's the thing. I do have a limit to what I can do. Even if I had a successful business, there's still a limit to what I can do myself physically because of my condition. I can't move as fast as I used to. I can't wake up and get going and be burning the fuel all day long like I used to. Try to show you some of the countryside here. So I have some limitations right now, not just financially but physically, and that's where things stand right now. I decided to stop the camera just for a moment to kind of get my thoughts together and turn it around so we can 500 meters turn right. As soon as I start talking, Google's got to butt in. 500 meters turn right. I've got it. Actually, I'm going to stop at a convenience store, I think, here in a few minutes. I'm feeling very dry and parched. I need something to drink. That looks like a really nice little place to stop. We got flowers and plants and stuff. Turn right. Actually, yep, I think there's a convenience store right around this curve. No, I'm thinking of a different place. But it's okay. There's going to be one soon enough. So we'll stop when we get there. It's okay. So there we are. That's pretty much it. I'm sorry for the really long video. This particular video, I didn't plan for it to be this long, but I do appreciate you sticking around and listening to me ramble on. I don't talk as efficiently and as quickly when I'm distracted with something else. I really want to pay attention to the road and make sure that I'm following the traffic rules. It's not, I've been driving for a very, very long time. I learned to drive before I was even old enough to get a license. And when I did finally get my driver's license, I was 15 years old. A friend of mine just told me earlier he got ticketed for taking a right where you're not supposed to take a right, but the Google Maps told him to turn right, and so he followed it, and he didn't see the signs for no right turn, but he got ticketed anyway. So that's unfortunate. So you have to really pay close attention to the signs here. So far, it's been okay. I haven't had any issues. The reason I said that is because I don't want to get distracted and do something stupid or miss a light or miss a turn or turn wrong or whatever.
Turn right.
Turn right, gotcha. I can do that. And right now I'm going to stop and make a turn here. Oh, pretty interesting. There's like a little modern house built right next to an older Japanese style house. Some of these houses have tons of wood right next to them, and I just want to go by there and say, "Can I have your wood?" There's a lot of really nice stuff out here in these in the countryside in these houses. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it for now. I kind of wanted to share that with you. Maybe it was just a two-pronged thing. One is to let you know about some processes that are required and involved if you want to study in a Japanese language school here in Japan. And the other was just to kind of get some things off my chest, because as you can see, there's no one sitting here in the van with me. I don't have somebody to share my feelings with most of the time. I always have to rely on my connection through the internet, either directly messaging some of my friends, some of you, or making videos for YouTube or whatever. And so the digital media has been very, I don't want to call it a crutch, because it's not that bad. It's not like a crutch. It's definitely no replacement, though, for real face-to-face human interaction. I miss being able to look at people's faces and laugh with them and hug people, hug my friends, and laugh with them just together, and being in a relationship with somebody, and having that touch and that closeness on a regular basis, good, healthy, positive relationships. Digital media can't replace those things. It is a welcome substitute for nothing. Okay, I'm not going to say it's a welcome substitute for human face-to-face interaction. It's not, but it is definitely far better than nothing. It has been useful, and it has been helpful to stay in touch with people, to meet all of you, and to provide information for you and to gain support for me. So overall, yes, I'm very happy that I have the digital connection in every way. If I didn't have it, it would be so difficult for me. So I'm very, very thankful for it. However, I will say it's still a poor substitute for actual face-to-face interaction. Nothing beats having your friends and loved ones around you. And that's a fact. Anyway, that's all for now. I'm surprised I haven't seen a convenience store in so long. Just driving around these twisted, windy roads with lots and lots of houses. I've seen a gas station, but no convenience stores yet. Still, I guess it's okay. It doesn't really matter. When I get there, I get there. I suppose we'll go ahead and end it here so I don't keep rambling. That's all I wanted to say. Alright, guys and gals, thank you so much. As always, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you, and I will see you again very soon. じゃあね。